You want to learn how to draw a floor plan in AutoCAD. Well, I've got a cabin that we're looking at building, and it's a small, simple floor plan, and I'm going to draw it completely from scratch. I want to show you some tips and tricks along the way. So our main goals is to show you how to check your drawings units, how to make sure you have your display colors the way you want them by looking at AutoCAD options. And then we're going to just start drawing walls, the wall finishes, wall thicknesses, and I want to show you how we're going to make blocks for doors and windows, as well as smart blocks, so you could change the door size simply, and then how I use hatches to shade walls, and just a few other things to consider along the way. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so if you're kind of new to AutoCAD, the first thing you want to do is just type in units and just double check that the units in your drawing are architectural, not one of these. Precision, I only keep at 1/32, and you want to have decimal degrees versus degree, minute, seconds, gradients, radians. These are all crazy. And then you want to make sure your insertion scale is in inches. Some people like to do it in feet. I just keep it in inches. So boom. And the next thing, if you want to change like your display colors and stuff like that, you just type in OP for options, enter. While it's doing that, go over here to display colors. And for the background, which is where it starts out at, I like to make sure it's like almost black, not exactly black. And then for the crosshairs, I want to make sure it's like a gray color, almost white. And why I do that is in case you insert like an image that's black and white, that way you don't lose the background or your crosshairs in that image. Okay, so we're gonna start off drawing walls. What I've got here is a drawing template where I've got all my plan layers inserted into it, and I'm gonna get going. So on plan framing, I'm going to be drawing this cabin. I have a draft of it that I drew where it's 38 by 26 feet with like a 12 by 22 feet covered patio. The thing I didn't like about this was there was there was no mudroom. You walk in here, B, it had the washer and dryer and like a double door in the kitchen. So, I mean, that's nice and all. However, I wanted to try and see what I could do to add a mudroom. So I sat down with my dad and we kind of fleshed this thing out. And anyways, so we decided to increase this about 4 feet and then drag this about 2 feet. So essentially we're going to make a 40 by 30 box to make the cabin. And yeah, let's draw that out. Well, let me show you the hand sketch. So we sketch this out to where you still walk up into the covered patio right here. You'd still walk down and out. But what we did is we made 2 windows here, and then we added the entry door about 4 feet or so off. That way we could tuck a stacked washer dryer here, walk into the mudroom with a bench, coat hooks and all that stuff, somewhere to kick your boots. And then I'm not sure if I'll do a barn door or a hinge door into the living room. And so you still got a living room, kitchen here, essentially a small pantry, fridge, and then this room essentially got smaller, and so did this closet. But yeah, let's go back into CAD. Let's just draw this thing from scratch. I like to draw everything in a polyline. It makes it cleaner and easier. So 30 feet. Snap over 40 feet. 30 feet, and then type C to close. Boom. Now what that is the edge of my stem wall and the edge of my framing. So now I'm going to offset in 0.5 inches, a half an inch for the thickness of my sheeting. And then I'm going to also offset in 5.5 inches for the thickness of my wall stud, which is a 2x6. So they're not actually 2x6 inches. They're 1.5 inches by 5.5. And 2x8s it gets a little different there. It's 1.5 inches by 7.25. So this is all just stuff from memory and experience, but the actual size is 5.5. So that's why I offset that. And now what I'm going to do is from here, since that's the edge of my stem wall, I'm going to do my floor joist at 2 feet. So I want the width of my rooms to start at 12 feet. So it pretty much just sits on that floor joist. Select that, hit trim, boom. I'm going to offset now 3.5 inches, boom. So now I've got my framing. And this, I'm going to come down 6 feet. My bathroom, boom. I'm gonna offset 3.5. That's essentially made the shell of my bathroom. And then now I want to do 4'6". And yeah, I'm liking the way that's looking. Got a little closet in here that I'm gonna have 3 feet clear, so 36 inches since that's my unit. Select it, offset, boom. And I want to do the same here. I'm not sure if I want, let's do 4'6". We're gonna offset 3.5. How big is this room now? 13. Yeah, that's still plenty big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this mudroom just a little deeper, 6 inches. So now we've got essentially 5 foot clear. We've got 12 foot 7.5 in the bedroom by almost 11 foot, over 11 foot. This is a little closet that's 4'6" wide, and this is the bathroom that is 6 foot wide. And we'll go into probably another video on laying these out and laying out the kitchen. But yeah, really, let's start to draw some doors. I'm gonna draw my first block. I like to draw it on the 0 layer. So essentially we're gonna go near all products, go into doors, we're gonna go into front doors, go into steel doors, just to get a rough size so we can draw that. So we're gonna go to, here we go. So this is basically the door I'm gonna end up using. And look at that. They give you quite a bit of info. Let's go. Control size is 37.5. So it said 4 9/16. I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna do 4.5. And then it said it was 37.5. And then do 4.5. And then close. And then I know the doors are actually 36 inches. And they're 1.75 wide. 36. And then 1.75. And then C to close it. Boom. Got that. Put that in the midpoint. Oh my god. There we go, midpoint. All right, cool. I know these jams are usually about 3/4, so 0.75. And then we're just gonna bring it over to just here. We know we gotta stop. That's usually about 3/8. And then I'm just gonna say 1.5. I know it goes all the way down here on most doors, but just for purposes, you know what? Okay. We'll just keep it straight, keep it simple. So I'm gonna delete that main box I did. Typed in MI to mirror, chose the midpoint, it's mirroring there. Now what I'm gonna do is select that point, typed in RO to rotate, and while I'm rotating, I click C, enter, so it copies the original. Now I'm going to do CI for circle, draw a circle, PL for polyline, draw a diagonal, select it, TR to trim, select delete, select delete. Now I'm gonna move these to my door swing, boom. DR to put it in the back. And now I have, select that point. I always like to select a point. And now I've got door, plan, log, bam. So now, since that's on the 0 layer, any layer I move it to, put anything on the 0 layer onto the layer I move it to in my management. So now, go ahead and select this, see, and I'm gonna create visibility right here. Double click, rename this 36 door, hit new, hit hide all, and we're gonna make it a 30 door. Hit OK, boom. Now we've got that was 36, this one's 30. Ooh, what did I do? I'm gonna hit S to stretch, select those, move it back 6 inches, boom. Do the same thing, RO, C, DI, go. Polyline, go. Move that to the A plan door swing, dr/back. Move this whole thing to the back so I can see my visibility thing. Make sure it's the same point. Now we're gonna close, save. Now we can make it a 30 or 36 inch door. And the other thing I'm gonna do is 30-inch doors are actually 1 3/8. So I gotta move that 3/8 of an inch, and I've gotta move this 3/8 of an inch. So it is a 1 3/8 thick door. Okay, and I'm also gonna copy that. I'm gonna add a new 42-inch barn door. Okay, so now what that is, boom. I'm gonna stretch from here. I'm gonna say, from there, 42 inches. So boom, we got a 42-inch door, and I want it to park at the finish, and the finish thickness is 0.5. I want it to park about a ½ inch away. Well, actually, it'll probably be more than that because baseboard. So I'm just gonna say 1.5. I'm gonna make that on the def points layer. If you don't have that, you just put that to the back. If you don't have a def points layer, you just come into layer property manager. You type in new layer. So from here, my finish, 36-inch opening, so 18 is half. Copy this at the midpoint, dr/back. So this is now door swing. Select that, delete. I'll order back all of that. And I'm gonna make this my selection point. Now this will all make sense and be really easy. So now I've got my 30-inch door, boom. Oh. So I wanna move it over 0.5 inches, and then I wanna move it up 3 inches. That way when I frame this, I'm gonna have an 1.5 inch stud and an 1.5 inch stud, which is 3 inches. So then I'm also to hit mirror and select that point in diagonal. Don't want to delete the original. And then boom. So from that wall, got 3 inches. Now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna copy this door. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Go back to this layer, hit polyline, draw a polyline here, and draw a polyline here. That way we could trim those easier. Select this, hit copy, boom. And I'm also going to select that, hit mirror, that midpoint, boom. That should have done this at 3 inches also. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and start trimming a bunch of stuff. Oops. Didn't put those polylines there, so now I'm gonna draw them. TR to trim, select across. See, this doesn't trim because it's in a block, so that is why that's occurring. Go ahead and copy 36 inches. And we're going to trim everything in between. Trim this, just makes life easier. There we go, it's starting to look like framing. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and trim this. I want to go ahead and copy that 36 inches away. From that point, trim it. So this should be, and it's not, I did it wrong, 2 foot. That's interesting. So I just need to move it 12 inches. Could trim it, boom, look at that. Now, one thing I can do is mirror this over from this center point. Trim, and if you hit shift click, it extends whatever you selected. And I am going to this 6 inches, a 5 foot wide. Let's see what's this distance. Boom. 710 room. $13.1. That is not enough room. What did I do? That's different. Should be 6 feet. Ooh, it's 6'2". Okay. So I've got to stretch a few of these things. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. 2. Stretch. 2. This. 12 inches. Is that what these were? 6 feet. 2. Yeah, 6 feet. That puts that at 13.1. What are we over here? 13. Okay, I'm gonna just give myself just a hair more. 12. This gets an extremely wide closet. And what this is a locked storage closet. Now we're gonna hit trim, extend. This makes this master bed huge. So it is now 15 feet by 11 feet. I'm gonna have fun laying that out. So this is kind of the fun thing with, let's go ahead and select that point. Do here, and that block is that barn door is now there. And click there. We're gonna hit mirror it at a 45, delete original, boom. You can see how that 42-inch covers that opening. Okay. I'm just gonna allow this one. I'm gonna do an X clip on it, which is you select it, you type in XC, and then you type new boundary, rectangular. So I just hit space each time. And now, all the way to here. So what it does is it clips anything outside of that box. So you see that? I'm gonna hit 0.5, because that'll be my wall finish. And booyah shakaza. Hit C. Put this guy right here. Mirror it. And yes. Oops. Didn't hit yes. Mirror it. Yes. Okay, so now everything there is on the door layer. So this is a nice thing about drawing on layers. I could just hit boom. Now all my doors disappear. These swings should too, because they're on that block, but let's see here. What if we do this? CAD does some weird things. There we go. Freeze it. Okay. Now we're just gonna go ahead, and I've got my walls framed. I'm gonna hit trim, and we're gonna trim all the little things that collide. And this is gonna be a really all right. So I'm gonna draw another thing in here. I'm gonna come over 36 inches. Oops. 36, come down 12. and then go over. Now I'm gonna offset this silly thing, 3.5. Now we can go ahead and trim. And I'm gonna do another little thing where we come out 36 inches. 36. I'm gonna go up 0.5. And then we're gonna come over here, and then go 0.5. And I'm gonna hit stretch, and then I'm unselect this. And unselect this. We're gonna come down 0.5. We're gonna move this 0.5. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit trim. I'm gonna trim that. And trim that. And I'm gonna hit this here. And this to here. I'm gonna hit PE to PE edit, and I'm gonna join this, and this. So essentially what I did is I like to draw my framing, my sheathing in plan 1/2 inch, and then this is my tile backer, which is 1/2 inch. And I might have to shrink this later, but this allows the offset I'm about to do be a lot easier. So we usually do 1/2 inch for the tile backer, and then when I offset a 1/2 inch for my sheetrock, that allows enough thickness for tile and a little bit of thin set. So we're gonna go ahead and select these. Oops. Let's come over. Let's trim all this. Now I'm gonna select this. Right. And now I'm gonna mirror it off the center outside. Select this, trim. Select this. Now, this is the fun part. PE, poly edit, space, J to join. Now I want to select this, and I want to join everything to make a closed polyline. Just noticed I missed something there. So, fix that. Get as much as I can without. Good. I'm going to have to select that and hit trim. So now essentially I made all of that one polyline, and this is going to make life so much easier. Okay, so it does go all the way to that. Freaking out. Poly edit. This, I like to select it. There we go. So I know what's selected before. And to here, boom. We're going to just do this. Poly edit, join that. Makes a box. Poly edit, join that. Makes a box. I think I'm good. Okay, nope. I gotta do this one. Poly edit, join, select it all. Yeah. Now I'm gonna offset 0.5. I'm gonna offset this 0.5. Now I've got my finish. I'm gonna move that layer to my A wall finish. So look at that. Now it's starting to look like a floor plan. Okay, I'm gonna turn my doors back on. Now comes the fun part of moving this, that door edge, because it offset it at a 1/2 inch. It's a little tedious step. You see how that little 1/2 inch jog made it relate? Listen. Listen. All right, now we're gonna put our front door in. Rotate this. Move this over. I want it about 4 feet on the inside of that framing. That way I've got enough room for a washer dryer there and enough room to walk in and not feel like crowded and you have to force to walk right in there. Now we're going to draw with the finish. Actually, now I need to offset for my stucco finish. So that's about 1 inches, give or take, plus or minus. And bring this, I'm wanting to do basically a single, you can't see what I'm doing. So I want to do a single slope roof where it all slopes down this way. And then a metal roof, and then that way it's here. So roughly in section, if I drew it here, it would look something like 30 feet. It's inches. 30 feet. Up 8 inches again. 8 feet. 8. Go 12 over 3. This is like a super rudimentary elevation. Trim, shift, click, extend. So essentially, this is the side of this face. So the roof is sloping down, and then I want that same metal roof to be on the face of this. So it's a metal roof, and then a white stucco volume. So that metal roof just goes on top of some sheathing and some underlayment. So I'm pulling this line down so it's in line with the sheathing. So that way when I move this to my finish, I've got my 1 inch stucco finish, my 1/2 inch siding, and then from here is where I put on my metal siding. So that's why there's that weird little jog. Go here, we're gonna hit polyline, hit polyline right there. And we're gonna go ahead and just select those and trim everything in between. Boom. Now we're gonna do poly edit, join this and this. Poly edit, join this, I forgot to select that. Now it's all draw order front. Now it's all one big polyline. Okay, there's that. And now we're gonna start drawing blocks for our windows. So go back to 0 there. I know window frames are somewhere about 3.5 inches thick. They're weird. And they're usually somewhere, a window frame is like 1 to 1 1/4. So I'm just putting 1.25. And this is just for really, really rough blocks. I know I want to do 30 inches. So I drew a line that was 30 inches long from that point. Boom. Then it's going to have glass that's about 1 inch thick. And essentially, this is roughly the window, okay? We're gonna make that a block. Pick a point right here, and we're gonna call it window plan. Boom. Now we're gonna move it to the A-plan glazing frame. We're gonna click into here, select, copy, and I know I want to make one of them an operable, so this is about 30. Zoom extents. So it's 30 minus 2 inches, so that's 28. It's hinged here. I want to make them awning windows for the egress. So add in a swing. Draw order back. We're going to add a visibility. Rename this. Rename it. 30-inch awning window. New. 40-inch fixed. And then I'm gonna hit paste. Stretch. And I want it 40 inches. 40 inches. Boom. Select that same point. There we go. Close, save. So now do the same thing. 3 inches from there. Start it right there. Pull this all the way out. And then I'm going to go ahead and just mirror it from this point. So I can select that point here and move it over at that point here. And look, they relate. Okay, now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to take this point, drag it down. I'm going to rotate from that point. Please. I'm going to move it over. Let's just say 20. Okay. This at 40-inch fixed. And then we're going to go ahead and just mirror it in the center so they're nice and centered in the structure. We're going to do the same thing with this finish layer. This. Join this, and this to close it, and this to close it. So we're gonna hit this, poly edit, join with that, make sure it's all closed. Okay. I hit this, poly edit, join. All right, I hit draw order front. Now one thing that's kind of weird, I like to do plan wall low because there is a wall below that. So we like to represent that line in plan. And here is our cabin floor plan. Now I'm going to go ahead and just hit H to hatch. And I'm going to select objects. Hit polyline, hit this polyline, hit this polyline, polyline. There we go. I'm gonna double click into it because I forgot to say solid. Boom, close. Now we're gonna make that a wall hatch. And hit dr/back. And now what we've got is our floor plan drawn. There it is. What, in 40 minutes? I'm going to speed this up, but in about 40 minutes, I just drew an entire floor plan. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy over this. And what this is just metal R paneling. And I like to move this about 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125, away from the finish. And move this sucker up tight. Now, let's copy. This is a little strenuous, so I just take 2 now, hit copy. I could select all these. Hit copy. Okay, now I'm going to select my metal capping, hit mirror from the center. No, I don't want to delete the original. So we're going to go ahead and hit trim it here. Boom. And I'm gonna hit this. This is one of my favorite commands. Layer ISO, boom. Look, that's the only thing you got now. Hit dr/back, and now we're gonna un-ISO, and now everything's back. Isn't that crazy? So here's some interesting quick tips with CAD. Okay, so if you notice, if I click and I drag one way, see how the box is dashed, and I drag the other way, it's closed. When it's closed, it only selects everything in the box. When it's dashed, it selects anything that the box touches. So if I select here, let me see if I select here, it'll only select what's in the box. But if I drag here and I go this way, it selects anything the box touches. So it's kind of interesting. It's a nice quick selection tool. And what I love about drawing with polylines is I could do that and I really don't have a ton of things selected. So it's not like I have to draw quick and all that things. There's some quick tips. There is our floor plan of our cabin. And let's see, in another episode, I'll go over bathroom design and I'll go over kitchen design. But for now, pretty pleased. Let me know if I showed you anything new in these comments. I try to just keep it basic and pretty general and just kind of go fast through it because I've been drawing for, I don't know. Jeez. I've been using CAD for over 10 years. Anyways, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'd love to help you out. And on our next few videos, what we're going to be doing is talking you through bathroom design, kitchen design, and then we're going to go over furniture layout. And then after that, I'm going to start drawing some sections and elevations to start making this thing take more shape. And then eventually from there, what I'm going to do is I'll bring this thing into SketchUp and we'll make a 3D representation of the cabin. And that way it'll help me and my wife decorate it better. Anyways, thank you for watching. See ya.